Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
It is midnight at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne and Calhoun in Uptown, New Orleans. Once a week, Margot and I meet here at Ted's, and we invite a member of New Orleans restaurant community to join us. We invite them to bring along a friend, a plus one. Now, we never know who the plus one's going to be, but we're looking forward to finding out along with you in just a few moments. But we do know who our special guest is tonight. In just a few moments, we are going to be welcoming the New Orleans original, Brad Wilkins. You may not know, he's been a pearl diver, a drummer with bands that have toured the country and Europe. He founded the 610 Stompers, but best of all, he's rightly known for being the owner and operator of Oak Street Cafe and also Adventures in Ice Cream. I can't wait to talk to Brad, and we'll have him on in just a few moments. But while we wait for that, Margot, what have you been up to? What did you have for dinner tonight?
Well, tonight Meatball cooked up a gourmet burger for me at Ted's Frost Stop with root beer candied bacon and grilled onions.
So why isn't everybody here right now to have? I guess not everybody knows. Maybe they need to know that because he does that every week, doesn't he?
Yes, he's going to be here just for us for Midnight Menu.
Now, where's that root beer made? Do they get that at the grocery store? Is that something you can get anywhere at Pathmark?
You can get it bottled at the new Fresh Market, but it's actually the original Frost Top recipe from 1927, and it's brewed in Ohio.
That's crazy.
They're bringing it back.
So it's a proprietary brand basically just for Ted's Frost Top.
Yeah, for Frost Tops.
Yeah, for Frost Tops,
Mr.
right.
Sternberg started this Ted's Frost Top.
He's still alive, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He came to the grand opening of the new owners. And
nice. I was there in Elton's costume. My favorite
rolling?
Costume.
Were you a rolling?
I was a strolling Elvi that night. But wow. Well, I'll tell you what I had for dinner. You want to know what I had for dinner?
I do.
Yes.
But more importantly,
yes.
I have to tell you, I saw your film.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, my husband and I were flipping through the channels. I've been dying to see it.
Yeah.
And I heard your voice on PBS.
Nice.
And The Man Who Ate New Orleans, I unfortunately only got to see half of it.
Did it give you indigestion? Watch me eat that much?
It was incredible. It was very, very moving. And being a local, I have to say it really was moving to see you appreciate so many things about this city and hear your passion for the people and the food and really helping our city out. And I think that's really what makes New Orleans a better place is people like you and other folks choosing to make it their home. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, that's sweet. Well, there's no higher compliment than that because to me, that's my goal is to be a New Orleanian. I'm trying. I'm working on it. This radio show's part of that. But it's just supposed to be a tasty love letter to the city, and that's I found that this is a city that if you love it, it'll love you back. We're going to see that with Brad, actually, because Brad is, like many of our guests have been, he is not a native New Orleanian either, but he's a convert like me, and he got a passion for the city. We're going to hear more about that in a moment.
Okay, I didn't ask you what you ate.
So what did I eat, Margot? I made a wise choice tonight. My wife and I made a wise choice. We went to, actually it was for lunch, but we went to, because I was eating dinner here, I knew. We ate at Rouse's. Now, they have great prepared food around. To me, that's maybe my favorite prepared food in a grocery store I've ever been in my life. But now they have an actual sit-down, you have table service.
Which location?
The one on Chapatoulas actually has, I don't know if the others do, but the one on Chapatoulas that I go to in Uptown has table service, and it was excellent. I mean, it was amazing. And I got Oysters Rockefeller. And it wasn't just regular. I mean, it's insane, right?
Oysters Rockefeller.
Right, no, not at Antoine's. Nope, not Antoine's where it was invented, but across town at Rouse's. And I'll tell you what, in its own way, it was as good. I mean, it was more of a soup though, and it had bacon in it, big chunks of bacon. It had all kinds of spices and herbs and onions, and it had some decent amount of oysters in it. It was $10, and it was so rich. I mean, I couldn't believe it. a lot of places like you go in this town and you get oysters. You'll get 2 oyster Rockefeller for $12.
So wait, it was a soup, or was it in an oyster shell? Was it like?
No, there were no shells involved. I was disappointed because I'm collecting shells right now. It's another story, but the for a craft project. But no, it was a and somehow we'll segue that into the pearl diving thing. I don't know, but yeah, no, it was like a soup. It was a very, very thick soup, but it had like a crunchy thing on top. I really wish I had talked to the chef about it, but we were in a hurry. But let me just say, go try it. It was incredible. My wife, for $8, she just got a starter, and that was her main meal. And she's not she eats less than I do, obviously, but she had a starter and it was filling. It was like a mini gourmet pizza, and it was delicious. And I mean, really. And then there was some lanyap. They brought us out a bunch of little samples of things that were great.
Did they bring it out because they knew you, or they were just being friendly?
They didn't know anything about the film or any of that stuff. I didn't gush. I was real low key. It was all just. I think it was just because
they were just wanting their
people.
clientele to try out.
They're New Orleanians, and they know that they're supposed to give you extra the more that you ask for. That's what this town does, right?
Lanyap.
And so, lots of lanyap. They call it that too. So they pickle their own stuff, and they brought all this pickled stuff, and then they had this candy they made. It was like a taffy that was like handmade. It was incredible. But
handmade taffy.
Yeah. Oh, it was unbelievable.
All right.
I can't gush about it enough, really. It was, they did not pay me to say that.
I think I'm going there tomorrow.
All right, do it. And here's our guest. Good timing. I see our special guest is here, Brad D'Artagnan Wilkins.
Hi, Brad.
Yes.
Hola.
Well, the first thing we wanted to know, Brad, was what was the thing about being a pearl diver? What was that? Was that a joke? What does that mean?
Pearl diver is the slang for dishwasher.
Ah.
Pearl diver.
Okay.
Yeah. That was
See,
one of my first restaurant gigs. Yeah.
Not quite as exciting as what we imagined, but
really.
But you have enough else going for you. That's okay.
Yeah, right on. I'm surprised y'all haven't
How
heard
old
that.
were you when you were pearl
17.
diving?
Yeah. Yeah, it was one of my first restaurant gigs.
And you were born in
Born in San Diego.
San Diego?
Yeah, California. My mom is from New Orleans. My family on my mama's side goes way back, as far as 1700s.
Wow.
I think I got it. My mom's maiden name goes back, I don't know, I lost count of generations for me, but buried in St. Louis Cemetery in 1795.
Nice.
So we lived a full life here before that, and then I think he was born in Montreal. As was the next layer of ancestry above that, and so they came from France with the French army. So
you probably related to my wife then. Yeah, she's a Forche, and they our kids are 11th generation New Orleans.
Yeah, that may very well be. Yeah. I'll have to look that all up.
And is that how you did you come here growing up to visit?
I did. Yeah, I would come often. I'd actually spend summers, and our family had a farm out by Opelousas, and I would spend a month at a time on several occasions. And I guess some kids went to camp. My mom sent me with my grandpa to go live on the farm for a while.
Your grandpa lived on the farm?
Early on, probably in the 30s. I believe my great-grandfather bought that farm in the late 20s.
So who owned it when you would go visit it in the summers?
The family collectively owned it.
And
then,
still
but
working
my great-uncle
farm?
lived there because he never got married. He went away to World War II and never came back. I mean, when he came back, he never got married. He never got a driver's license. He was a total farm boy, yeah.
Wow, so he worked it. For the family, and the family owned it
Subsistence.
collectively, and they would send you out there to keep you out of trouble.
Yeah, so I just go, exactly, no air conditioning. Imagine living in the summertime in Louisiana with no air conditioning.
Did you find ways to get in trouble anyway out there?
Oh, yeah, I got in big trouble. Yeah, I was a bad kid.
Anything you want to share?
Like buying bottle rockets and shooting them off and scaring the cattle and the chickens. And then I decided to go for a walk, and I didn't tell anybody. And I walked, this is like a 40-some-odd acre, old enough to know better, probably like 12, 13, and they thought I was missing, and they got the whole neighborhood looking for me, and all I'm doing is walking around like in the soybean fields. Yeah, I'm having the time of my life. And they were looking over frantic, and like I remember neighbors, hey, are you that little boy, blah blah? I'm like, yeah. Everybody's looking for you, you gotta hurry. And I remember that, like, and I felt so guilty, and my grandpa was like crying, like he really thought like an alligator got me or something, you know. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, glad alligator didn't get you, because then we wouldn't have Oak Street Cafe today.
That's right.
So how did that happen? You got here in 2004 and started no before that though, right?
Oh, I got here in 95. That's when I first came back.
So you had a snowball stand for a while before.
The snowball stand opened in 99 on Oak Street, and it used to be a snowball stand that was operated up until the 80s. And I used to get my hair cut from Buddy the Barber on Oak Street, and right next door you could clearly look through the window and see this was a snowball stand, but it had miscellaneous items stored in there. There's some people just using it for storage.
Huh.
So I got a hold of the owner and I said, I want to put a snowball stand back in there. Let's clear out all your stuff. And they're like, okay. And so then I opened that. And then while I had the snowball, what is now Oak Street Cafe was a fledgling donut shop. And the owner wanted to get out of it. And so he came and approached me and said, hey, you want to buy my assets and blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, in a heartbeat. So I basically bought him out. And then I changed it up and added the decor and gave it the paint color scheme and kind of put my little piece of my heart into it is what I did. So,
all right.
Yeah.
What gave you the confidence to take on things like that when someone approached you? I mean, that's pretty. Were you just naive and young, or you were confident from
experience operating other? Back in my history, I was in high school promoting beer parties, and I would get a band to come and play, and then I'd charge everybody $1 or $2 at the door.
An entrepreneur
and have like
in high
500
school.
people there, and then the cops would come and bust everything up, and I would promote shows
So
in
you're an
my
entrepreneur
town.
from the beginning,
Yeah, from the get-go. And so I did that, and then let's see, what else did I do? I played in bands and traveled and did some touring and some recording. And then I worked for a vending machine business.
Yeah, wait. You skipped over that too quick. You
Okay.
played in some bands and you toured and recorded. That deserves more than a
It
sentence.
was
What
a lot
that
of
like?
fun. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So you're full time, like traveling around, playing
It
more
still
or less.
truthfully wasn't full time,
Right.
but it was underneath it all. Like how many musicians or artists you know that
Yeah.
do all these different things, but they work at McDonald's, but they 10 bar or something, or drive a
Did
truck.
you play
for a
all around the
living.
country, or where'd you
Mostly
play?
the West Coast.
Yeah.
And we opened up for a lot of notable bands from the 80s. We would do gigs with the Bengals. We opened for
No
them.
kidding, really? Wow.
General Public, guy
Yeah,
from
I
the English
remember
Beat.
General
Wow.
Public.
We
Oh,
did a mini
sure.
tour of the West Coast with them.
I
So
love
y'all
General
were like
Public.
real musicians. It
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah, we were real.
I mean, come on.
Thank you. Yeah, we were real.
You still are a real musician,
Yeah,
aren't
I
you?
think so too.
Well, that's
Yeah,
a
and
good-
we went to London and we played. We were on the same record label with the two members of the Jam. After the Jam split,
Yeah,
then two of the
yeah.
members were on a record label.
Holy crap!
We
Wow.
recorded with that label too.
What was
so
the name of your band?
The name at that time was a band Manual Scan,
Manual
which
Scan.
still you can Google and still find us. I think we even have pieces on Pandora. I think you can find us.
Oh wow.
Or Groove Shark. I looked at Groove Shark and I was so surprised that there was a couple of our tunes on there.
That's really cool.
Kind of neat. Yeah.
So did you record CDs and all that too?
We were recording vinyl.
Yeah.
In
all
that
right.
time in the 80s. And yeah, CDs came out. And yes, I am on CDs. We have a greatest hits of our band. It's a CD.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And then I've been on compilations with other bands from around the world, basically. Mostly English.
Wow.
And in Spain, they love us in Spain. So, go figure. I don't know why.
Huh.
So,
It's
And
yeah.
you're still. I'm sorry.
no.
I'm just enthralled. You're still playing today, or are you working?
just played an hour ago.
Yeah, you just got off of, right? You were playing
Yeah.
over at Matt Murphy's restaurant, right? At the
Exactly.
Irish?
Yeah, at the Irish House. They have
Yeah.
a jam session, Irish Jam, every Monday night. And so I started going and showing up. And I was given a baron drum. And so I started to play that. And I thought, well, you know what? And I met Matt, and he invited me to come down and play. And I thought, you know what? I got this drum, and I might as well do it. And so I've been having a ball. So that's something I look forward to every Monday night.
All right.
I also play in a samba band. A friend of mine, Josh, and I have a band called Boombador.
Uh-huh.
We play samba-style rhythms seasonally around Mardi Gras, around Carnival.
All right.
So we do
Where do you
that.
play?
We play for the Apocalypse Ball, which is
Okay.
through LHA, Louisiana Himalaya
Okay.
Association. And that's an interesting group that's involved with, what's the best way to put this, in India to help refugees from Tibet. And they're associated with Tulane University. People in the Master's of Social Work program have an opportunity to go to India for about a month and help with this program.
Wow.
So it's kind of an interesting
Wait a
thing.
second.
I've
So the
never heard
program
about
has
this.
a Mardi Gras expression? Is that what you're telling me?
They have a ball
They
called
have a
the
ball. The
Apocalypse
program-
Ball.
Okay, now how many other places? This is crazy. This is this is
That's
like
right.
standard for you and the rest of us, but this is nuts for people that
Yeah.
aren't used to this. Okay,
Yeah.
so a university has a program that they're working with Tibet on social justice issues, basically,
Yeah.
and one way they express this is they have a Mardi Gras ball.
They have a Mardi Gras ball.
That's
yeah,
nuts.
They
That
get
doesn't
hundreds
happen.
of people show up.
That's
Okay.
beautiful.
I went to Princeton. They didn't do that. Wake Forest
No.
didn't do that. No, I mean that's a New Orleans thing.
That's
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean maybe a party, a cocktail party or something. That's just a little
yeah.
different. You're talking about
Yeah.
people in costumes and
It's a
bands.
big
and
ball. It's costumes.
The whole
they
thing.
have, it's all set up.
That's great. I
And
didn't
it
even know
raises
about it.
money for the.
Yeah, for refugees in Tibet, basically.
So you can get drunk for a cause. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love
Wearing
that.
a
And dance.
costume.
You
Yeah,
dance
and
for
there's
applause,
other
yeah.
bands that play, and
Yeah.
then our samba band plays, and then Shake It Out usually plays.
Oh, I love
Shake
Shag It Out. You know,
Yeah.
Brent Rose is a good friend of mine.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Tato plays in our band.
And
he
Eduardo,
also-
too. I just saw
so,
Eduardo
yeah.
this weekend. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great.
So it's kind of fun, yeah. So
All
we
right.
do that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Wow.
so musically, I have recently accompanied, well, it hasn't been recently, my musical, I don't know, history has gone from playing basic drums, playing rock, but
Right.
basically mod style, kind of 60s
Uh-huh.
revival, and then kind of segued into Afro-Cuban. I was playing Afro-Cuban, playing congas, things like that, and then segued into Middle Eastern. So I was playing with belly dancers here in town, like the belly dance festivals and different gigs and stuff like that. So now I'm kind of in the samba thing, and now I'm getting into the Irish thing. So I still play the music, but for fun, not for profit.
You're a musical gumbo.
Musical going, yeah.
Well, this is a good segue because we just met a couple seconds ago for the first time. You're plus one, your
My
special
plus one,
guest that you
yeah.
chose. We ask our guests to bring a mystery guest, and we meet them when that person arrives. And why don't you introduce your special guest, because she's a musician.
All
I'm
right,
told,
this
yeah.
is Anya Doherty. She's from Ireland.
Come on over.
From a little town north of Galway.
Nice
and she's
to meet
a singer-songwriter and performs all over town.
Thank you
Tell
for
us
coming
about
and
yourself.
joining
Thank you.
us.
Thank you. How's it going?
Now you have to
Good.
tell me, how do you pronounce your name?
My name is Anya O'Doherty.
Anya?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I could
Anya
listen to you read the phone
O'Doherty?
book. What a beautiful voice!
Uh-huh.
Oh wow!
That's why I wanted her to come.
Oh wow! Do you sing too?
Yeah, I'm a singer-songwriter. And, I moved to New Orleans last year, September 2011, and I've been here ever since. And just started off in the Irish House. I found out that Matt Murphy was opening up, and I heard over in Ireland that he was opening up, so I got in touch. And
They were talking about it in Ireland.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just a friend of a friend of a friend, and I just called him up one day, and he was like, I'm thinking about moving over, and I was initially just for bartending, and like, it was very hard to just kind of jump in and go, I want a gig. So it was like, a job for bartenders. Yeah, he was like, didn't know me yet, and he was like, yeah, come on, head over, no problem, like, so welcoming. And then they didn't do music, so eventually within about 3 weeks I was there, I just suggested maybe you should do music some night. And now they do.
Did they know you were a musician when you started tending bar there?
Not really, no. And then I played in the session. They started the Irish sessions there on Monday night, so I did like the first couple of weeks of that, and then suggested that they do music, and it went really well. And now they do music 3 nights a week. They have different musicians from New Orleans and from all around coming in, and it's just going off really well.
Is it always Irish music, or they do other kinds of music also?
No, it's a good variation, and even I do Irish music, but I was also my mom was a singer in an American country band back in Ireland, so I was brought up on a lot of like Johnny Cash, Dolly Parton, Emily Harris, and all that kind of thing.
Wait, slow down. Hold on a second. So your
Sorry.
mom was in a country band, American country band in Ireland.
Yeah.
So when she sang like Johnny Cash, was it with an Irish accent, or did she sound American?
We sound American. When I sing American, it's American, yeah.
Did you have to work
wow.
hard on that, or does it?
No, you just listen to it and
Yeah.
you learn the accent, I guess, from playing along with it, or?
Yeah, if I try to sing in my own accent in a country song, it doesn't happen. Like every now and then you will get a word that your memory just sort of lapses, or your accent
Can we
sort of
hear a
comes
little
in.
bit? Can we hear a little?
You guys brought your
just a
instruments,
little-
didn't you? Could you do that? Oh yeah, no,
Or
sing
just a little
acapella.
country, just
Yeah.
a little.
I can do, well, Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, Jolene,
Woo.
Jolene,
the chills.
Jolene, please don't take him, even though you can. Well, her beauty is beyond compare. Flame locks of auburn hair with ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Her voice is like a breath of spring. Skin is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. Jolene, 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 I'm begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 baby, please don't take him, even though you can.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yay.
Did not expect that.
No.
That was unbelievable.
There's a hush in the
Wow, I
in
need
Ted's.
to. Yeah, I need to take a nap or
Very
something.
quiet.
That was wow. Unbelievable.
So, what nights?
The session is on in the Irish House every Monday, and we randomly turn up as guarantee that there'll be the same musicians every Monday. And then I play a lot in the Irish House, the Kerry Irish Pub, Finn McCool's, and a few more new gigs
love
that are kind of
yeah.
It's a great place. And then any other venues in New Orleans that would like me to come along.
And anyone's listening.
Yeah.
Wow, you sound like you're from Tennessee when you sang that. That's
Yeah, really pigeon forge.
I used to think I used to hear Dolly Parton on the radio, and I used to think that was my mom. So I'd be like telling people like, "That's my mommy on the radio." And my mom would be like, "Yeah, it is."
wow. So you all play together in the same band on Mondays?
We do,
Yeah.
but it is more. It's an informal jam session, so you can't guarantee who's going to
Depends
be
on who
there.
shows
But
up.
yeah, we've been
Yeah.
playing last few. Yeah,
And is that, I notice in your place, I read that you're celebrating 8 years.
correct.
But when you originally opened it, did you, because of your musical background, did that influence the atmosphere, or did that evolve?
It really did. And what appealed to me, or what I felt inside, was the nostalgia of eateries before the fast food invasion. And musically, that included a lot of the crooner kind of singers, the Frank Sinatras. That was kind of what I wanted to portray. I'm a musician. I've always loved swing, Louis Prima, people like that. And so I went with that kind of motive. I actually came across a series of photographs and a program of a Frank Sinatra concert that had pictures of Lucille Ball, Sonny and Cher, all these random things. And I thought, this is old. These are nostalgic pictures. Started putting them up.
Yeah.
And then musicians started dropping in. And so somebody said, why don't you get a piano? I said, okay. So I got a piano. And then I bought a bass and set that up in there. And so then different, like, Marsalis's would show up and play various, different people would come and drop in and play music. So the music was a natural fit for me, being that I'm a musician and I like to feed people, so I can combine them both. So we can feed you and we can play some music for you.
Well, Brad, I'll tell you, I'll be walking down Oak Street because that's not too far from where I live, and I walk everywhere. I'll walk down Oak Street. I'll be going to Blue Cypress to get a book, or going wherever, drugstore there or whatever, and I have no intention of stopping to have a meal. And then I see that bass in the window, and it just draws me in.
It does.
And then I smell the food when I get in there, and I can't stop myself. And so, I half the time I eat your place all the time, but half of the time it's unintentional.
So it's
or it'll just be
working.
such a fun vibe too. There's always people eating outside there too, especially since they redid Oak Street. It seems like you have a little bit more of a. You're at the end, so you have a little bit of a blowout right there, and it's
it's nice. That bump out helps for parking issues and keeps traffic flow moving.
Yeah.
And so the sidewalk is extended. There's a lot more room, and so we can have that room to have the outdoor tables.
I mean, I've never seen your place empty. Every time you walk in, there's always a fun crowd.
And how have you seen Oak Street evolve over the past 8 years? And longer, because you've been there longer. Are you happy with what you've seen happen on Oak Street?
Yeah, very. Because I really rolled the dice when I started. It was a totally different animal.
Right.
It was only dinner time business was Giacomo's, and then the Maple Leaf was, like a bar scene. So, when I moved in, it was really kind of like, well, this is going to be what this is. I didn't really think ahead. Well, maybe someday they'll renovate the street. Maybe someday we'll have this hurricane and it'll just totally change the city. I never thought about any of that. It was just, I lived literally right around the corner. I watched the place as a donut shop, and I would go in and patronize them and think I could do better. And the guy running it ran into some issues in his personal life and decided he wanted to get out of it. And so then that's when he approached me. And so, I did come in. So it gave me an opportunity. I knew I always wanted to feed people. And that it was important to me. And I really moved to New Orleans to learn the cooking on a commercial level, turn around and go back to San Diego and open up a place there. But I just fell in love with the city. The city has a way to grab you.
Yeah. You listening?
I tried to leave.
Yeah,
How'd you stay?
I tried to leave and I came back. So,
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah. Totally.
Well, I'll give you one musical story while we're on that, and I wanted
Okay.
to ask you a bunch of. I'm sure Margo has a lot of questions too, but one was my wife and I were enjoying. We go there a lot on Mondays. We'll have breakfast at your place, and we were there, and you have what's his name, the slim guy who plays the piano a lot. I know there's two different guys. You have the British guy and you have the other slim guy. What's his name?
Yeah, Charles.
Charles. I was going to say Charlie. Okay.
Charles or Chuck Farmer.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was in New Orleans Magazine a few months ago.
He
There was an
was,
article
yeah.
about him. Anyway, he was playing, and there was a woman who was just eating. I don't think she was. No, she definitely wasn't with y'all. She's just a customer. She was eating, and she was just sort of really enjoying the piano. And I watched her, and she wasn't. She after a while, she was sort of like discarded her meal, and she was kind of just watching him play, and then she just started singing, And
Cool.
then he started changing the tune, and then they sort of, he improvised according to how she was singing. Next thing you know, she gets off on like she was doing Billy Holiday's "God Bless the Child," and then
Sounds
people
fun.
started clapping. So then she stood up,
Right
it's like
on.
it's one of those
Good.
only in New Orleans moments. Then she finished her sandwich, an egg sandwich, and she left.
Yeah.
And it was like, who was that woman?
It'll erupt in a spontaneous jam session. Yeah, sometimes we'll get horn players drop in. We have different people. Somebody will play bass. Sometimes I'll slip in on the drums and play congas on some tracks or something. And it evolves that way. And then recently we have a clarinet player from Antwerp, Belgium. And he came over last year, spent about a month in New Orleans. He's here, spent about a month, so he'll come by and pull out the clarinets. And we had clarinet, we had trumpet, bass, drums, and piano. So like a full combo thing, but all spontaneous, just everybody randomly showing up at that time.
Yeah,
So
you're not gonna get that at Denny's,
no.
Wow.
Well, I wanted to ask you. You have how many children?
I have two,
2.
Mhm.
They're adults now. They're probably not
almost,
children. huh?
17 and 20.
So they grew up in New Orleans. You
For the most part, yeah, they were very young when we moved here. Yeah, they weren't. Neither of them were born here, but yeah, they from my oldest girl was in kindergarten when she started here in New Orleans, and so having the snowball stand gave them an opportunity to be involved and to help out, and they would make snowballs for people, learn customer service skills, and then neither one of them, even at a young age, had any real sort of phobia or fear of dealing with the public. Somebody come in and say, Aka has a large, nectar snowball with condensed milk, and they'd be like, okay, and then they would make it for him and hand it to him and take the money. It wasn't like they sat there shivering in fear, So both of them, I think, have a large degree of confidence from at an early age, being able to interact with people. So
did you ever? So you never thought about leaving when they were teenagers, or you were always confident.
yeah, there's
raising
never
them
been
here
a
around
time
them.
that I wanted to leave the city with them.
That's great.
So, no, never. Yeah, I've always wanted them to. I grew up in a suburban environment, which I thought was largely sterile, and we would need to go into town to go to a groovy coffee house or to go hear some singer-songwriter or something. That didn't happen in our community, so I wanted my children to be able to be in a city that's rich in culture, music, and food. And so now I've got one that gets to live here. She lives in America now, and another one that lives with her mom in Florida who is missing out. But when she comes here, she loves it.
She'll be back.
And she's comfortable. Yeah, she comes a couple times a year and fits right in. Doesn't skip a beat,
We feel the same way. When we felt the city was going to get wrecked for Gustav, and then again with Isaac when we worried, the first thing my wife and I think is like, where else can we raise our kids? And we feel like this is the best place in the world to raise kids.
Yeah, you get it. Some people get it.
Yeah.
Some people don't, and that's okay if they move away, Just we need to free up room for people that really want to be here. And I don't know if y'all noticed, my personal assessment is people that live in New Orleans love living in New Orleans.
Yes.
We'll brag about it. We're very proud of it. And there are other cities in the country where I know people from, and they're like, meh. They don't really get excited about much about anything. They don't really have that level. But here, people that really do love to be here, that they love to be here.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were coming to the point in our show where we're going back to the 80s a little bit here,
Okay.
because this was a book, you're probably not familiar with it,
Before
but
you were
it's
born.
called The Book of Questions, and it was popular in the 80s. So what we're going to have y'all do is pick a number, each of y'all pick a number between 1 and 217, and you're going to randomly get asked a question, and
You must answer it.
you must answer it, even
No
if
matter
you
what.
think it's silly or
Lie to us if you
bizarre.
have to.
Yes,
Oh.
you
like
must.
fun.
You
Let's
want
start
him to
with
go?
Brad. Let's
Yeah,
start with Brad.
Okay.
let's put you on the spot first. Since
Okay.
okay, what's your favorite number between 1 and 217?
I just picked 119.
119.
He was very confident of that number. There's something special about that number.
I don't know if it's anything special or just random. Sounds like a good random number.
Okay, 119. If this country were to suffer an unprovoked nuclear attack and would be
Reagan era.
totally obliterated in a matter of minutes, would you favor unleashing the U.S. nuclear arsenal upon the attackers?
Yes.
Yes.
Is that a trick question? 'Cause
No,
if we were
no.
totally obliterated, would we have that opportunity?
Well,
But-
I guess we'd have a few minutes.
Yeah,
Okay, your
okay.
answer is yes.
Okay, my answer is yes.
okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. I don't need to interrogate you further
No?
about that. That's
No
good.
explanation?
No,
It's either yes or no.
Yes.
Right.
That's a very 80s question, too. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember being terrified of that in the 80s, yeah.
With that song with
Yeah.
Reagan in the White
Yeah,
House.
right, exactly, yeah.
Right.
Okay, you
Violent
ready?
Femmes are
Yeah.
singing about that.
I'll go with a famous Irish number, 33.
You say that
What
so
know.
Ross
pretty.
say so many times.
Please just say
Say it
every
again.
number over and over
Say it
again.
again. Okay, number 33. What is the greatest accomplishment of your life?
Wow.
And if there is there anything you hope to do that is even better?
Wow.
I would probably honestly say coming here in 2011 and making New Orleans my home, because I've been on the road for the last 6 or 7 years, and I was always kind of trying to find somewhere that I could base myself and not be living out of a suitcase. And apart from my hometown in Donegal in Ireland, New Orleans, and I'm happy that I've been accepted, hopefully, into the
wonderful.
city. And
Oh, that's a sweet answer, yeah.
didn't any better? Not right now. I'm good. I'm good.
Wow.
Yeah. New Orleans is just like you said it. It's a fantastic city. I tour around so much around America, and we are spoiled here. It's so good, but in a good way. I don't like being told, at 2 o'clock I can have a drink, or I can't.
There's no last
Yeah.
call in New
Yeah.
Orleans.
There's no last call in New
No,
Orleans. You know, there's
right.
bars in the French Quarter that don't have locks in the door, literally, because they never close.
No, yeah, that's yeah. We shouldn't be told no. I don't like. We're all adults, and freedom and people and everything. I just like being able. New Orleans is like, if you want, yes, and if
Wow.
you don't, no, it's fine. So
And-
that's
Well,
it's
yeah.
great.
Tell us where you toured. Where else did you travel when you toured? You say you toured about 6 years around. Where
Yeah,
did you perform?
New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, South Carolina, Florida, Austin, Nashville, Memphis, California,
Wow.
San Diego, Los Angeles. I never did like the Northwest and kind of up that line there.
No Montana.
No. I think I'm gonna go there when I'm 75 and rent a little cottage in the out there somewhere. But until then, just hit the spots. But it's just America is an amazing place. I don't want to go anywhere else.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a great country. You're very lucky, and I hope that I can stay here for as long as I can. And
Well,
yes.
I'm not native to here either, and I've learned that I feel like if you love New Orleans love you back.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, it doesn't mean you can't be critical of certain parts of it
Yeah.
and certain things about it, but if in your heart you're really coming from a place of loyalty here and you really love it, like I hear you say,
Yeah.
I think the city will love you back.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for you. What about Irish food? Do you miss any Irish? Do you get much Irish food here in New Orleans? Is there anything you miss that you can't really eat here that you pine for back home?
Yeah, you call them chips, we call them crisps. So you have like Lay's and Doritos and all this kind of stuff.
Huh.
But we just have like a cheese and onion. They're called Tato. Tato is potato. Tato
Huh.
is the company that the big Irish crisp making company, and they have cheese and onion flavor, salt and vinegar, and pickled onion and smoky bacon and all that kind of stuff. But you don't really get the
Can't
same
get that here, huh?
flavors here.
Okay.
And the chocolate as well. Chocolate here is a little bit sweeter So you do get, if you go to the international store, you can get stuff like that.
So is it darker chocolate there, less milk chocolate, or
it's
is
more
it
milk chocolate, but it's less kind of sweet kind of thing. But I get the odd package home, the secret package over, across the water and stuff that mom and dad send over to me. So it's good. So you can always get stuff. But the international store, just out on Airline Drive around there, like we can always get stuff there. So it's not.
Do you cook? Do you cook?
Yeah. Not very well, but Rice's. I love Rice's.
Oh, we do
were
too.
talking about
we
Rouse's
were
today.
discussing about Rouse's right before you came in.
Yeah, I just live in
that's where I ate
Mid-City
at lunch.
beside Rice's, and just you can go in. And last night I went in and got like a chicken breast wrapped in pineapple with and bacon. And you can just go in like I'm single, just living on my own. So it's you don't have to go in and buy like 6 chicken fillets and have to stock up the fridge. You can go in and get your nice little thing, freshly made. Lovely fresh vegetables, and and they're so helpful in there and so nice. It's just like walking into a local store in Ireland. You can have conversations with the people and everything. So yes, Rice's.
I lived in New Jersey for I don't know how way too long, and I never got to know the first name of anybody in any of the grocery stores. I feel like I have a relationship with everybody at all the grocery stores that I walk to for my home. Rouse's being one of them. Yeah, it's a different way of doing groceries here. It's great.
Yeah. They've got to do it very well. So yes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I'm already having a hard time. I wanted to say your name. Can you say it one more time?
Okay. It's spelled A-I-N-E, and on the A there's what we call a father. So it's like an accent in French, just like the stroke on the top. So father means longer. So it means whatever letter it goes over vowels. So when it goes over a vowel, it makes the vowel longer. So it looks like ain, A-I-N-E, but when you put the father, it goes ah. So A goes so it's Anya.
Anya.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anya.
Anya.
I would like to ask you about, you have a fleur-de-lis tattoo on your neck. Is that new since you've been to New Orleans, or did you come with that to the city?
I got that. I was at a friend's birthday party and they hired in a tattoo artist, and it was last April. And
Before you moved here?
No,
since
I was here.
Okay.
And I just.
Wait, so you got your tattoo on a whim? You were just at a party and a guy was giving out tattoos and you got it?
I always wanted a fleur-de-lis for the few months, and I had a few drinks and I was like a little more eager to get the tattoo.
And did you have something on your arm too?
I have there's a music.
Oh, that's pretty.
Here.
Treble clef.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Multicolored.
And then I've a lovely tattoo there I done by local artist AJ Keenan. She works in Idle Hands on Magazine Street. So and excellent tattoo artist. So another one from AJ. So two local tattoos I've got so far.
So how many tattoos do you have total?
6.
6, and two in the last year since
Brad,
you've been here.
do you
Okay,
have
I see a
Do you have
trend.
any tattoos?
I have no tattoos.
Do your girls, either of your girls, that you know of?
Not yet. But they have a biblical restriction on that. Like they're not supposed to mark their body. So I don't know if they'll live up to that or
You're
not.
not Jewish, are you?
They are. Their
Oh, they
mother
are?
was. Yeah,
Oh, I
their
didn't know
mother
that.
is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Margaret's Jewish. My mother's Jewish.
I'm the goy.
I didn't like to see. You're like, no, I'm not. I'm Muslim.
I've been an honorary member of the tribe for a long time.
You're a mott.
And I love the old Yiddish words too.
Oh, interesting. Well, now, do you still have the ice cream place going too? Or?
I do.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
That was a project basically to give my daughter something to do. It was either go to school or move out or do that. And so we opted to do that, and she didn't. It wasn't for her.
Okay.
So she needed to
So
find something else to do.
So you still have somebody else running it now?
Yeah, so now I have somebody else running it, and then we're working on changing up the design and spending some more time on it and fixing it up. And she's going back to UNO, so
I like
that
it.
works out.
You have
you.
local flavors there.
we have local ice cream. It's
Yeah.
made for the dairies within around 50 miles. Klein Peter.
Yeah.
They feature no growth hormone in their ice cream, so I feel good about slinging it. And the flavors are really good. I shopped around. I looked at a couple other dairies, and I thought, this is the one. Yeah. It's good for it. Better for you. At least it's less bad for you. I mean, ice cream's got milk fat, but it tastes so good.
Oh yeah.
And you like to support local, do as much local in your place as well, right? In
Yeah.
the restaurant.
I try. Yeah, and I like to use fresh produce. I like to do things with vegetables and fruits, but mostly cooking. I use blueberries a lot. I use strawberries, blackberries, raspberries. Then from a scramble standpoint, I try to integrate regional things like the muffaletta has a olive medley on a sandwich. I thought, well, why can't I scramble that olive medley with artichoke hearts and some feta cheese and sun-dried tomatoes? And
how have I not had that yet? How did I miss that one?
It's on there.
It's fairly new.
In different forms or another, Mediterranean scramble started out as a weekly special, and then due to popularity, just decided to put it on the permanent menu.
Nice. Your menu's gotten
things like that.
more and more creative, I feel like, and it's gotten bigger and bigger.
Thank you
over
for saying.
time.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, we started out just a basic breakfast joint, and kind of taking that, and we needed to go to another level with it. There's only so much you do with scrambled eggs and bacon and toast.
Yeah.
So let's add some things. Let's bring in fresh produce. Let's scramble things and make omelets with them. But then we'll have baby spinach leaf. We'll grill onions or grill peppers. So yeah.
Well, we're on the topic of cooking. Margot had a question for you.
Let me see. Well, I think Ray's talking about shortcuts. Yes.
Okay.
This is a point in the show where we would like to know if there is any shortcuts that you use in your restaurant, secrets, or something.
We recently found out that Tori McPhail uses Chef Boyardee for his spaghetti. No, he doesn't. But you know how that is.
Something that makes the process easier,
a little easier, quicker. That maybe you embellish.
Yeah, there are things like the use of our black beans.
There we go.
I used to use a dry black bean and make them, and then it occurred to me.
And how long would that take?
Space, yeah, it takes hours. You have a big giant pot, and then I started trying some canned black beans, and I know that we can doctor that up. It's the cooking process has already been done, but I think the basic flavor is enough that we can add our own seasoning and cilantro and some things, and then we can bring it right back to where it would have been if we were making the whole thing. So yeah, that would be a little shortcut and a little secret.
That's great
to know. Yeah. Yeah, we're mostly doing this for selfish reasons. We want to. Margo and I are both lazy cooks, but we like to eat a lot, so we're trying to find some ways to.
With my salsa, the best salsa recipe I was able to find was using a canned diced tomato, as opposed to getting fresh tomatoes and try to guarantee consistency on a tomato in this town is impossible. But I can guarantee consistency of green onion. Cilantro is always going to taste like cilantro.
Interesting.
And I use a little apple cider vinegar in my salsa, so I'll use canned tomatoes, but add those other ingredients and then blend it to not where it's a puree or really fine, but it's still somewhat chunky. So I find I get a really authentic Mexican salsa flavor with that.
Nice.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, pleasure.
Well, I had another question for you. Anya, have you been to Po' Boy Fest yet? Were you here last year for Po' Boy Fest?
Yes, I was there. On Oak Street. Yes.
Yeah. I look forward to that every year, and that must be a big event for you, right?
It's very big, yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Excellent. And the bands on each end of the street.
Yeah. Who'd you hear? You remember?
I can't really remember now. But I know I ate po' boys. I had some sort of cannelloni, some Italian thing. And then something in a bread, but it was a soup bowl almost, and then the soup or whatever was inside it.
Yeah.
I
forget who did that, but I remember that too.
Yeah, it was gorgeous as well. So yeah, brilliant. So is that coming up soon again?
It is coming up at November 17th or something like that, or 18th?
Yeah, the mid part of November.
18th, I think.
I forgot the exact address.
That's exciting.
Okay.
So you get all geared up for that?
Yeah, we get geared up for it. Yeah.
And this year I heard they're going to be trying to spread the crowd out a little bit more because it gets impossible to walk even there. It's gotten so big.
We were a victim of our own success. Yeah. I was president of the Oak Street Association when we conceived that, and the festival was conceived on one of my tables at the cafe.
No kidding. I didn't know that. I was not prepared for that. That's great.
We had a representative from the state. We had Sandy from Leidenheimer saying we want to sponsor a festival. State of Louisiana saying we want to give money to somebody that's going to sponsor a festival, and we all looked at each other and we're like, this is a no-brainer, so we'll have a Po' Boy festival. And we started doing that. I guess we're going on 4 years now.
It's brilliant.
So.
I mean, I can't believe it wasn't done
before.
I
mean, it was a perfect fit. Yeah, it really was.
Now see, it's on a Sunday. I'm in the church, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And that's a hard day to concentrate in church because I keep thinking about what po' boys I'm going to get as soon as I leave there,
There's always a
I
good
load up.
variety of
Yeah,
something.
right. I've tried to fast the day before because I just gorge myself that day. You can't
a good
help
idea.
yourself. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Well, we're running out of time, and I have a
Okay.
couple more really important questions to ask you. One is I
Okay.
can't believe we've gone this far without asking about 610 Stompers.
Okay.
The most,
Sure.
one of the most, the second most interesting group in New Orleans after the Rolling Elvi, I think.
After the Rolling Elvi. That's right.
Now you were in the Macy's Day. Did you go?
Yeah, I did. Well,
First of all, tell people if they're not familiar. What are the 610 Stompers and how? You were a founder, right? Weren't you?
No, I'm not a charter member. I'm
Okay.
the second year.
Okay.
Second go around.
Well, tell us about them.
610 Stompers, I believe, are started as somewhat of a reaction to the female dance groups or Mardi Gras marching or dancing crews, as
Organ
we like
grinders
to call them.
and the
Organ grinders,
camel toe steppers and all that. Yeah,
camel toe, lady steppers, pussyfooters.
Right.
So all those groups had been, and pussyfooters made 11 years, maybe going on 12 years
Wow.
now.
Sirens,
And
it's just
so
endless
it's
numbers.
sirens, and so it's all girls.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the Rolling Elvi came up with Jailhouse Rockers, really,
Right.
that were like the second one. So Stompers kind of spearheaded it.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a reaction, almost a dare, where the founders are like watching a girl group go by. We could do that. We could maybe better. And then the founder's wife going, "Yeah, I'd like to see you try." You're all and he went out and he started recruiting other people and sharing the idea, and then it took off. At the time when I saw their very first performance, I was with the Pussyfooters as a pussy handler.
Ah.
And the pussy handler's responsibility is to take care of the girls, carry their things on the parade route, make sure people clear out of the street, carry the banner. So I was doing that, and at the Pussyfooter Blush Ball was the very first performance of the 610 Stompers.
Oh.
So here I'm being on the sidelines helping the girls have their day in the sun.
Yeah.
And I saw these guys, and I told myself, I got to do that. That's what I'm going to do. And so
That's cool.
I knew a couple of the members. I saw them, having known them from being around town. And a couple of guys from Squeal.
Right.
And two of the brothers.
Yeah,
So-
right down the block from you.
down the block from me. So
now describe the costume, the prescribed costume for 610 Stompers.
the costume features
Have you seen them? Yeah, big
a
fan.
bright red satin jacket
Bright red satin jacket.
with powder blue Sansabelt polyester Coaches shorts.
Sweet.
Some of us may remember Coaches in
Oh, yeah.
high school or college wearing those things.
Yeah.
And tube socks with stripes, and we wear spray painted gold tennis shoes.
Nice. Headbands, wristbands.
And we have the headbands and wristbands. Thanks for reminding me.
Yeah, and the T-shirt
So,
with the
and
logo.
Yeah,
and all,
we usually for summer attire or winter attire includes a tank top with the jacket over the top of that, and the shorts, the tube socks, and the gold shoes. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
All shapes and sizes, all ages.
There's all
included.
of us, yeah. There's guys in their early 20s, and there's guys in their mid 60s that do it.
And how often do y'all practice?
In season, we practice every other week, and then once we learn the dances, then it's just a matter of just
Right.
going to performances and keep practicing that way. But yeah, so when we kind of gear up. Season is really gearing up toward Mardi Gras.
Yeah. First, go ahead.
I was gonna say we were invited to the people that produced the parade, the Macy's
Day
Thanksgiving
Parade, yeah.
in New York City. So they saw us at a parade and thought we got to have those guys. So we were invited there. We had a great time.
I'll tell you, that is beyond extraordinary because when you think about this, okay, that's the most famous parade in America. It shouldn't be. I mean, it's I won't
That
get
and
into
the Rose Parade.
I wrote
mean,
an
there's
essay
just-
about comparing Mardi Gras parades to Macy's Day Parade, and there's no
Yeah.
competition. They're a half mile long or whatever it is, 3/4 of a mile. Mardi Gras
Yeah.
6 miles, whatever.
difference.
But I'm not putting it down. What I want to say about it is it's all ads for stuff. It's all floats like about Disney, and then you guys come along. You're not selling anything.
we're not selling
and all the
anything.
rest of it is so anesthetized. It's so just sort of
Correct.
sanitized is what I meant to
Yeah.
say. Sanitized. And then you guys come in, you're just wackos, right? You
Yeah.
got headbands, and you're like all different shapes and sizes, and you're dancing
Absolutely.
around.
We're
And they didn't know what to do with you. I remember
ordinary
seeing on
guys,
TV, and the
extraordinary
announcers were
moves.
just like, "What was that?" You know?
Yeah, I was watching it with my in-laws in Boston, and I love my in-laws, but it's not that exciting up there in Framingham every Thanksgiving. But we were watching the Macy's Day Parade.
Framingham, is that Massachusetts?
Framingham,
Yeah.
Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was really exciting. They love New Orleans,
Yeah.
but it was a little, shocking and exciting, and it was the best part of my my Thanksgiving vacation to
Watching
watch
their reaction to
Yes,
the 6
and
10 stompers.
We brought a level of joy and surprise to
Yeah.
countless people.
Oh, I bet.
After being in parades in New Orleans and then being in a parade there, my observations were there was no drinking.
Of course
Newark
not.
doesn't
No,
allow any
no.
drinking on the street.
They don't even allow soda.
People were dressed
You
well.
can't have a Coke in New York.
Yeah. Well, now you can.
so reserved, like
No.
like
The
dressed
crowd
up
was
like
behaved. They were wearing nice big wool jackets and gloves and hats, and they stayed behind the barricades, and there were no litter in the
No
street.
litter in the streets.
I will grant them that. And
That sounds boring.
as you were saying, as far as the artists, they're selling something. The Energizer Bunny followed us down this giant,
Right.
and then there was the cast
says
of
it
a
all.
Broadway play,
Right.
and they will either walk or they'll sit in a vehicle and make the route, and then they'll get out in front of the cameras.
Right. There's one spot with the
And
camera
then they'll
set up
do
and
their
they do
performance.
the thing. Yeah, right.
We danced the whole way,
Right.
whereas everybody else just kind of went by and waved
And
from
how
a
did the
car.
crowd react to y'all?
The
Did they?
crowd loved us.
Oh, you must have
and
been the best
you could
thing
hear
about the parade.
ahead. It was somewhat silent. We would maybe round a corner doing our moves or something, and then the crowd would go nuts. Cops would pull out their mobile phones and start taking pictures of us, and they were laughing. People were hanging out of buildings and clapping. And I came across a video on YouTube of a former LSU student filming out of their apartment window. Look at 6 10 Stompers. Look, I'm so glad I went to LSU. They were saying all these wonderful things about us, and I thought that's really flattering. That's nice.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a hell of an experience.
Bring a little bit of joy, New Orleans joy
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to the other parts.
Kind of spreading the love, you know.
Oh yeah.
Do
Yeah, I
y'all-
love that. It's like that bumper sticker, be New Orleanian wherever you are. You know, you can make some New Orleanian converts of New York. You know, they don't have to move here. They can just be that way there.
That's
you know?
right. They can be.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
do you? Is there anything in the works in the future? Are they gonna
For
for
Stompers? or-
Stompers being
Yeah, you
in
have
the
you have any
parade
scoops
again,
for
or-
us?
They did tell us that they were not going to be inviting us back next year. They let that be known right
course.
away. I think
Why?
that we are more or less a novelty. I think they stirred the pot a little bit by bringing us, but I don't think they wanted to make us a regular attraction every year.
Well, you got to think how much
It
it
was like a
costs them per
special-
second to be on the air, and they have it so well. It's a well-oiled machine, and there's
Really
as
is,
as
yeah.
opposed to Mardi Gras, where you're not allowed to sell anything. Nobody's selling
Yeah.
anything. It's all a free party thrown for the
Yeah.
world, and it goes on for 2 weeks.
Exactly.
And Macy's Day is all just sort of regimented.
It's
like
Well,
pretty
at
regular
least
much
they
they're
had
promoting.
y'all. They had
Yeah.
y'all, and
Yeah.
that's a wonderful
But that costs them
thing.
money to do that.
It
And
does.
now they can fill in your spot
hell of a
a Mickey Mouse
production.
thing or something, and get some advertising money.
Yeah.
Energizer bunnies or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, there was that, and then there's the floats. There's an actor, and shame on me for not paying attention, but he played a Harry Potter,
Oh.
and he was
The main
in
guy?
a Broadway play. I don't know.
Oh yeah, he was
doing
doing Broadway. I saw that in magazines.
So
yeah.
he came into the makeup section in
cool.
the makeup counter inside Macy's while we waited for our rehearsal. So he came in with his posse, and we were all hanging out together, kind of in the same thing. He was like, "Hey, that's the guy from Harry Potter over there," and he's probably like, "Hey, that's those guys from New Orleans over there." And when the Stompers were on the Today Show, and got to
Nice.
use Justin Bieber's. His dressing room, and so he was on before us. So after he cleared out, they let us in and use his dressing room. So
Because you guys are just like Justin Bieber.
he just like, yeah.
Now, how
We
many
have-
stompers are there?
Right now, we just had a second round of auditions.
You have to turn a lot of people away.
It's we had 200 attempted or guys auditioned or tried out, and we accepted 20.
Wow.
So that's a lot of
Wow.
So
It's
now
getting
we're up
hard,
to
yeah. It's
just
pretty
under 100
exclusive.
guys.
Yeah.
Pretty. Is it?
It's difficult to get in,
Yeah.
but we're not. We are not judging on the ability to dance. We're looking at character, and we're
just more
looking at the
personality
people.
and-
We're looking
yeah.
at personalities.
Yeah.
Do we want to hang around with this guy? Does this guy look? Some of the guys that we have chosen, dare I say, they don't fit the category of like particularly well dressed or in shape, fit guys. You know, none of us. We're across the board.
Right.
And so we bring in guys with different shapes and different backgrounds and different persuasions, but we do all get along. And I found for a group of 100 guys a very, very tiny amount of drama. What I see is enormous amount of camaraderie,
Yeah.
a certain sense of fraternity. We are basically a fraternal organization. And everything is for charity. Every
Right.
kind of event, if we get paid, turns around and gets donated to somebody for something.
Wonderful.
That's great.
So, and that could be something as simple as a creative art project. Art Spot Productions, they were a recipient of a $610 grant that we did, and So yeah, everything we do is for fun, and it's for charity. So there's no money, and yeah, we're not trying to sell anything. So.
All right. Well, we're Anya. I want to hear you talk. I'm just looking for excuses to ask you things. I love your voice so much. But do you have any favorite restaurants so far since you've been here? Places to go back to a lot, besides Oak Street Cafe, and besides Irish House.
Irish House. I visited Parkway Po' Boys for the first time today.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, and I honestly, it was amazing. The bread was just like clouds and just fluffy and creamy. And I had the turkey po' boy, but the turkey was so tasty and everything. So I live about 6 or 7 blocks away from there, so I think I'm probably going to be there for lunch every day for as long. But I think I'll be going back there. So that's my number one for.
Good choice.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and Justin Kennedy, the manager there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
Yeah, he was actually in the Irish House tonight at the session. So
I interviewed him for a film, for that Man Who Ate New Orleans film. I got to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's in that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Great guy. Great place. So,
great guy. Down to earth guy.
Yeah. Great. So there. And I visit La Peniche every now and then at 5 a.m. in the morning after a gig.
That's good too.
Yeah.
It's good for 5 a.m.
Yeah,
too. It's always open.
Yeah. Always interesting. You always see very fun things. So there.
Well, like a lot of places in New Orleans, it's like the people watching is even greater than the food.
That's it. Yeah. I just went down today and just cycled around French Quarter and that, and just park your bike and sit and have a little gawk. And then go back up to Mid City and so it's just another New Orleans factor. It's
Mid City is such a wonderful neighborhood too. I'm an Uptowner, but I love Mid City as well. That's a great neighborhood. Well, we're almost out of time, and Brad, I wanted to ask you though about post Katrina Oak Street, because a lot was written about that immediately after the storm, and you were probably involved in a little bit of that drama. I'll just tell you personally, the first time I ever ate in Oak Street, I remember I was with a friend of mine who was very involved in the community. I just moved here. It was January or February of '06. And I asked him where he wanted to go to lunch, and he said, "Oh, we got to go to Oak Street." I said, "Oh, they have good food." He said, "Yeah, they have good food." But I just love him because he was serving all. I saw him out there serving all the meals to all the National Guard and people that were helping out, and you had a reputation for that in Oak Street at the time. And he lived right off of Oak Street. Good. Tell me a little bit about what was it like after Katrina on Oak Street? What was, I know there's a lot of stuff that happened on Oak. It was sort of a focus of some particularly ugly and beautiful things.
Yeah, and we would see the beauty in people, we would see the ugly. We would see that the storm brought out the best in people, and it brought out the worst in others. But I believe it brought out the worst in far fewer people than it did bring out the best. And we did see neighbors helping neighbors. We would see everyone share their story. Everyone was telling us, "Oh, well, I don't have a kitchen right now, and my roof in the back of my house is gone," or "I lost everything, I don't know where I'm staying." We heard everything, and I appreciated my role in the community as sort of a bulletin board or like a communication center. Because people would come to a public place where they could sit down and somebody could cook for them.
Well, the storm was August 29th. When did you reopen?
We opened by the end of September.
That's impressive. Yeah,
we were one of the first people to open.
I came down here in the first week of October, and it was so hard to find a place to eat.
Yeah, that's really tough.
So little was open that first week in October, and you were open a week before that.
I think a lot of it had to do with the power.
Yeah.
We were lucky, and our restaurant sits on a different power grid than Oak Street itself.
Huh.
So we actually got power back before the Maple Leaf.
Wow.
One of the first things we did is went to the Maple Leaf. I know a lot of people went, and John Groh was playing organ, and he was playing off of a generator, and they had 1 or 2 light bulbs. But I had power in my ice maker, so I was bringing my ice down to keep the beers cold. And that was a real sense of community, because you had people from the neighborhood all kind of gathering around, and they don't have anything to do. Half the city, more than half the city doesn't have electricity or power. And so to be able to kind of be in that,
well, it's still like that commercial, right? You know that commercial where the guy's eating the chocolate chip cookies and he finds out he's in hell because there's no milk. Right? That would be, could be that. Going to Maple Street and hearing music like that and not being able to drink a cold beer would be would just be hellish.
That's right.
So your little bit of ice was like rescuing that.
Yeah,
it
really
wouldn't be
was.
the same experience without that.
Well, we unfortunately we're coming to the end of our evening, and I wanted to thank Anya and Brad for joining us.
You are very welcome. Thank you for having us.
Really enjoyed it, and I want to make sure too that before y'all leave, you try some of Meatball's special menu
Will
tonight.
not regret it.
He's got a lot of great choices for us tonight, so I hope y'all stick around a little bit longer
Thank
and
you.
eat up.
Will do.
Thank you so much. This is such a delight.
My pleasure.
It's such an honor to have you all here. This has been Midnight Menu Plus One. Our show is recorded live at Ted's Frost Top on Claiborne Avenue in Calhoun in Uptown New Orleans each week. Ted's is open 7 days a week, serving first-class burgers, beer, and their awesome homemade root beer in a frosty mug. Margot and I produce the show ourselves with very little help from anybody except Mitch Cry, our technical director. You can get in touch with us here at Midnight Menu Plus One by going to our website, itsneworleans.com. You can also tweet us, we're It's New Orleans, and you can like us on Facebook, where we are also It's New Orleans. And you can go to our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can, what a surprise, where you can sign up on our mailing list. Now, on It's New Orleans, you can listen to other episodes of Midnight Menu Plus One, as well as other great New Orleans shows. There's Happy Hour, there's Mindset, True to the Game, and Out to Lunch. Now, if you're listening to the show on iTunes, thanks for subscribing. Maybe you can take a minute to rate us and review us. That really helps other people finding us. Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. So we meet again here at Ted's Frost Top. I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss.
See you back here on the next Midnight Menu Plus One. Bye.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green Potty Mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii, U.S. only.